There's also enhanced leadership skills. Both books, the Tao Te Ching as well as Ban Gong Bei, emphasizes the importance of understanding human nature and working harmoniously with others, fostering better teamwork and smoother operations. And typically in the West, we tend to tinker with systems and tinker with people's personalities, so that oftentimes our employees and our colleagues act one way when they're working for us and an entirely different way when they're not, which kind of like really exaggerates this divide in approaching the world from a wholesome perspective. 3, improve decision making. Really, with Ban Gong Bei, the decisions are already there for you. You don't need to figure them out necessarily. You don't need to invent them. You need to just acknowledge that they are around you, sometimes under your nose. Reduce stress. And I will tell you this. I, at times, experience a heart rate of about 54 beats per minute, which is kind of crazy because I used to have, well, I have high blood pressure, ironically, but I used to have a heart rate because of all of the anxiety of trying to get my employees to do things and trying to get things done on time. But there are some actual physical benefits to this, like, lowered heart rate, and a calmer mindset so that you can actually think more efficiently. And then last but not least, better delegation and innovation. And oftentimes I think that the Western ideology teaches you to be a boss and teaches you to climb a ladder at the expense of your health, at the expense of your family, at the expense of the unity, and ultimately of the reason why you're in business in the first place. And so that often looks more competitive than harmonious. So just to summarize, I'm sorry, there's 2 more. There's achieving balance. And last but not least, there's resilience in business. I don't know about you out there in the audience, but every 3 years, I have to reinvent myself, my services, my value to the people around me. It used to cause me a lot of stress, but it's something that just naturally happens because time is finite and time changes and the times change. So every business owner should read this book because it provides actionable advice for maximizing efficiency while maintaining harmony in both your professional and your personal life. So that's one of the reasons why I was really driven to produce this book. And it's a beautiful little book. It could fit in your your breast pocket. It could fit in your back pocket. It's very discreet. And there's enough margin on each page so you can even like pen in your own notes like I've done. And yeah, so anyways, that is my endorsement of that little black book. There we go, right there.
Yeah, little black book instead of
yeah.
instead the little red book in Cultural Revolution. So we have a little black book. So there are 2 aspects of this book. Thank you so much, Robbie. By the way, Robbie is a dear friend of mine who I've known for many years now. He lives in Nashville, Tennessee. He married a beautiful blonde lady, and he has, how many children you have now, Robbie?
I have 6 children.
Wow. And they are wonderful, and he lives in the middle of a cornfield, and he's one of the most cultural diverse, understanding around the world, with world perspective businessman, very successful in publishing business. So if any of you have any books that you would like to have offer world view of things, Robbie is the publisher to go. I have had very happy experience working with him on this book, Ban Gong Bei. So Ban Gong Bei has 2 distinct features. One is East and West, as reflected in the Tao Te Ching and in Robbie's passion in, helping put this book together in terms of recognizing a balance and taking the best from East and West. So that sets apart this book different from other self-help book today in the marketplace. And second aspect, let me put my PPT back. is a question that people sometimes ask about this. Is, we're all busy, and you ask yourself question, how much can I actually improve the efficiency by using this Ban Gong Bei pearls? And my answer will really impress you. 1000% or 10 times. And you actually feel like you have not 24, but 48, 72, 96 hours in a day. And this came from personal experience, that the most frequent questions that friends been asking me over the years is, because, I'm kind of crazy. I do lots of different things. And people say, Ming, how many hours do you have really in a day? Do you have like 40 hours or something instead of 24? And my answer always surprise people. I always say, no, actually, I do feel like sometimes I have 72 or 96 hours. Because Ban Gong Bei, right? Half the time accomplishing double. So then you say, what? 10 times? 1000%? Is it really true? What is the conceptual basis for you to even state that, Ming? Is that too ambitious or not? Upon what human wisdom that you think by focusing on certain sets of pearls, we can have so much to improve in terms of our efficiency? You say, wait, how can we improve 10 times? Well, here's the reasoning. Human beings are 90% emotional and only 10% logical. Jonathan Haidt, the New York Times bestseller, famous psychologist, in his seminal work, The Righteous Mind, said that we are 90% emotional elephant and 10% logical. So, in fact, all of us have the experience. We have done things. They say, hey, Johnny, did you do that? Yes, I did that, but I have no idea why I did it. Well, you did do it. It's just your emotional self, which is 90% of it, did it, rather than your logical self. So we as human beings are really mostly emotional elephant, 90%. Only 10%, the little elephant rider sits on top of the elephant. Elephant rider, as Jonathan Haidt said, is the White House press secretary. You know how White House press secretary functions, right? That after the president has so irrationally have crazily done something, the White House press secretary just get on to the press conference and trying to rationalize what the president has so irrationally done. So we are mostly emotional. And it's very natural, because guess what? Our mid and lower brain is where emotional intuition, the irrational come from. And only our cortex on the top, the upper brain, was only developed in the last 10,000 years or so. So therefore, it's only small percentage of our brain. So every one of us, you may think you're fighting against the rest of the world. We're actually fighting within ourselves. It's just the upper brain, logical, control behavior, lower brain, which is 90% emotional, irrational behavior. Such as Ray Dalio, another New York Times bestseller author, in his book, New York Times bestseller also called The Principle, talk about that. Now, you all may have a question now. You say, wait a minute, Ming, if human beings are indeed mostly emotional and irrational, then it sounds like it's random. How could we even systematically overcome it, right? You're trying to be more logical, but how do you even, if it's irrational, emotional, which means it's random, how do you find a solution to a random error, right? You cannot find a solution to a random error. You can only find a solution to a systematic error. So that's a very good question. I want to pause 5 seconds for you all to think about it. If indeed human beings are emotional, mostly, and if irrational behavior is random, then in principle, it's impossible to devise systematic solutions, right? Systematic solutions is only for systematic errors, right? Well, here's the answer. How can we systematically overcome the irrationalities if random? The answer is, ladies and gentlemen, our irrationality of human behavior is actually not random. Dan Ariely, another New York Times bestseller author, in his seminal book called Predictably Irrational, clearly demonstrated with many, many, many scientific experiments. So human beings are irrational, all right? 90% of us, 90% of our behavior is irrational, emotional, not logical. But for some very interesting reason, which we can talk about later, that irrationality is actually predictable. Isn't that interesting? We are predictably irrational. Give an example. If I sell you 2 packages of a hotel, 1 week in Paris, one is $1,000, one is $500. $1,000 include meal every day, $500 only 7 nights hotel, just the room. But $1,000 also include Tuesday night, all you can drink the best wines in the world. Okay, so which one would you pick? Well, you will probably pick the $500. You say, I can spend my own money buying food, and I would rather save $500. But guess what? I'm going to give you another offer. Somehow, you will pick $1,000 option. You don't believe it? Here we go. It's predictable. You're irrational, but it's predictable. What if I present you with 2 different options? One is $1,000, 7-night hotel, meal, and the Tuesday night, all you can drink the best wine in the world. Second option is not $500, but it's $950, and only $50 less. And the difference is that $950 actually have, the hotel room and the food just without Tuesday night, or you can drink the best wine in the world. Now, which option would you pick? 950 or 1,000? You actually, interestingly, you will pick $1,000 now. Because you think, with actually $50 more, I can drink all the wine in the world Tuesday night. The most expensive wines. So you see, you're not logical. And your behavior I have just predicted. You end up initially not choosing the $1,000 option. Now you have chosen the $1,000 option. Isn't that interesting? Human behavior is predictable. So that is the basis of Ban Gong Bei. Ban Gong Bei is simply by systematically study our irrational but predictable behavior, then apply the seldomly applied logic. Because remember, we're 90% emotional, 10% logical, 90% emotional elephant, 10% elephant rider. So we don't use logic most of the time. Ladies and gentlemen, we do not use logic most of the time in human behavior. So by systematically study our predictable irrational behavior, figure out how we are irrational, but it's predictable, but then apply the seldomly applied logic, we can in fact improve 90% of the irrational part of ourselves, thus reaching an amazing 10 times improvement in efficiency. Okay, so it's very interesting. You can, by studying the system, Ban Gong Bei system, you're going to improve your productivity, not by 10%, 5%, not even 50%, not even 100%, 200%. You can improve your productivity 1,000% based on those proven psychological studies that I have just cited. Okay. In the Ban Gong Bei, I have identified 77 human nature-driven irrational behaviors. These are all irrational, but they are predictable because all of us behave that way. Me too. All I'm doing is simply apply the logic to overcome them. And then you end up to be able to be 10 times more efficient. Okay? Now, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to spend just a few minutes updating many of you because some of you asked the questions in the early on that want to do what's the update on the movie. I'm just going to spend a couple minutes tell you, before I take a picture of this, I'm not going to address this today. This is basically what I do every day. about correcting vision surgeries for nearsightedness, farsightedness, astigmatism, presbyopia, the reading difficulty, and the cataracts. So if you have any question, you can attend our Zoom, which is every Tuesday, and also my email address. So take a picture of this. I'm not going to spend time to go over these procedures, but you can ask question later if you want, or you can email me anytime. So a little bit update on the film. The film has concluded its successful United States domestic theatrical run, the longest run film in US theaters this summer, and 7.2 million US box office. And right now it's on nju.com/site. You can use iTalkBB at checkout, so it's only going to cost $9.60. And I think some of you have not seen it. I'm just going to show you very quickly the trailer. Turn up your computer volume a little bit. Here we go.
I'm going to help you see again.
You said it was impossible.
Ah, there he is, the good doctor.
You're going to be on the cover of the Tennessee Herald tomorrow morning. You may get a date out of this.
Not with that picture.
Very funny.
Our pro bono office got a call from India. A little girl, 6 years old.
Apparently, street beggars make more money if they're legitimately blind. So the stepmother poured sulfuric acid in each of her eyes.
I'm going to help you see again, Kajan.
Is it true that multiple doctors declared your patient irreversibly blind?
Yes, I developed this new breakthrough technology. Here we go. Do you see the light?
No. I can't see anything.
I have this patient from India. She reminds me of some things in the past that I can't get over.
The present is made possible by the past.
A long time ago back in China, there was an uprising in my hometown. Many bad things happened.
So we came to America.
Yes.
It's hard getting into medical school, but you coming from China, don't waste your time.
You cannot change the past, Ming. I feel like I'm stuck.
Hello, doctor. This is Maria.
We want to give her a chance to see again.
I don't even know if I can perform surgery anymore. I left you.
Stop it. You need to just let go.
I just don't want Maria to end up like Kajan.
We can only do our best. I'm with you, Ming. We can do this.
I refuse to believe there is no purpose.
I will be praying for you.
Kajal is teaching me that there's more to life than what you see. We have to keep going.
Thought you said it was impossible.
Can you see yourself, Maria?
I'm so pretty.
The film won the best picture at 2023 ICVM International Christian Film Festival. And also the tomato score is 98%, very high. And we took the film around the United States and did a national film tour called Telling Our Story Tour, 365 days, Chinese Americans, mostly 40 states, 500 free shows to 50,000 audiences. And it's for our children, motivate them. And we even were invited to the Academy of Motion Pictures in Los Angeles for private screening. So we may have a shot at being nominated at Oscar. And right now, international distribution, Singapore, Poland, and different countries, and digital, and also Amazon Prime, Apple, Google Play, etc. DVD is available. Anyone interested? In fact, if you sign up 3 months Guild membership, you get a free DVD. If you wonder what you can do to help, one thing that we do have some film cards. You can email me if you're going to Christmas party in your company. Email me. I'll mail you 20, 30 those cards, and you can help the cost by passing out to friends. This is a first generation Chinese American film in American mainstream media with wide release. First one in history. So it's a chance for Chinese Americans to stand up, speak out, and tell our stories. Okay, so Ban Gong Bei, once again, our goal is to improve our efficiency by 10 times by recognizing humans are 90% emotional and recognizing not only we're 90% irrational, but also it's predictable. Because it's predictable, because it is a systematic error, not a random error, we now can apply systematic solution to a systematic error because it's predictable. Because 90% of us is emotional, irrational. That's why by replacing with logical self in the 90%, we can improve up to 10 times, 1000% our efficiency. So I'm going to specifically talk about these 77 human nature-driven irrationalities and specifically point out how we can apply logic to overcome each of them and to do things much more efficiently. Now, this Zoom presentation will be in a series of 12, always the third Wednesday of every month. So you want to take a picture of this so you can remember the next one is November 20th, and it's always third Wednesday of every month. Dr. Ming Chen, I'm very grateful in putting up this hosting. So put in the chat room your name, email address, mailing address, and also WeChat address. Go ahead and do that now in the chat room so that Dr. Ming Chen has all your information and you can get the books also, as I mentioned. So the book is available actually also on Amazon as well. So you would want to attend every one of the 12 Zooms because I divided these 77 pearls into 12 sections. Each Zoom, I go over about 6 to 7 pearls because I tell the stories behind these pearls and allowed you also some time to digest these pearls and to apply to your own work. Okay, so ultimately, as Robbie mentioned, that it is to improve our productivity through identification of human nature-driven irrationalities and replace with rationalities. Okay, so if you want to cover all 77, you'll want to attend every single one of the 12 Zooms. 12 month, third Wednesday of every month, 7:30 p.m. Central Time, the same Zoom number. Okay, today we're going to cover 6 or 7 as well. First, in partnership, the person is more important than the project. In partnership, who your partner is more important than what you'll be doing together. Examine the character of a potential partner before entering into business relationship with him or her. With the right partner, you may be able to do the right thing. However, with the wrong partner, you may never be able to do the right thing. This is one of, we always argue that in business, is people more important or the issue is more important? This pearl 1 of the 77 Ban Gong Bei pearl is that people is more important. Because we all have the experience that we jump in the business with somebody and work after a while, we find that's the wrong partner to begin with. Either she or he may not be a good communicator, may not do what he or she promised, etc. It's the wrong partner. So you're trying to get out of that. So wasting time. So one of the ways to make your life a lot more efficient, before you enter any partnership, spend a little bit of time, examine that person. Don't worry about what you do, but worry about who he or she is. Because with the right partner, you may or may not be able to do the right thing, but with the wrong partner, you never be able to do the right thing. Is he or she, does he or she knows life is 2 ways? Does he or she is a good communicator? Does he or she do things what he or she has promised to do? These are fundamental. You see, we as human beings, we may do different things in different points in our lives, but how we do things never change. Because if for somebody who's honest, somebody follows through, somebody is a good communicator, someone does things what he or she promised, that how stays with that person. He or she may do different things next year, but that how stays. Okay, so we do everything with 3 reasons: why we do it, what we do, and how you do it. The how stay with us. By the way, each of you have received the electronic version, the digital, the watermark version of the book. So you can open that, look at it, and you can make some notes in the marginal, but you all be receiving the little booklet. And once you get the booklet, which is tiny little black book, you can make marginal notes. In the next Zoom in November, you will be receiving that booklet. So people is more important. So then you say, wait a minute, Dr. Wang, is the people always more important than the issue? I would like to open up for 10 seconds for each of you to think about your own business and ask your question, is it true that people is more important than the matter? 10 seconds. Think about it. What you do, is it people always more important than the matter, as I illustrated? Well, as it turned out, I have discovered that it is not true. That's pro number 2. In fact, in other circumstances, about 50% of the time, matter is more important. In solving a problem, the matter is more important than the person. When addressing a problem, you should not focus on personal attributes of the individual who made the mistake. If you do, you will place the focus on the person, him or herself, which may incite his or her ego and create an emotional barrier that could cause him or her to never be able to see the issue itself. Therefore, you should focus on issue instead of the person. The goal is to solve the problem and improve the system, not to blame on any particular person. And I've learned this particular pro in a hard way. Many of those pros I actually learned from, students who are smarter than me in schools. I've got good fortune attending 中国科技大学、马里兰大学、哈佛医学院、麻省理工学院, Harvard, MIT, Chinese University of Science and Technology, University of Maryland, all these great schools. I found 20% kids are smarter than me. But even though I'm medium high in my IQ, I guess, but I can learn from them how they are so smart, what they're doing differently than me. From one particular business associate who is a lot smarter than me, I've learned this particular pro. That is, if you have a problem in your company, Nancy made a mistake. When you have a meeting with the company, it would not be helpful to point out to everyone, well, today we're going to discuss the problem and Nancy made a mistake. We're going to try to solve that problem. Because number one, everybody will focus on Nancy and rather than focus on the problem. And second, Nancy herself will be shut down. Her ego will create a barrier, so she will no longer listen to you because you did not save her face. So in a business environment as such, you have to focus on the matter rather than the person. So I have learned that pro. So nowadays, when I address a problem in our vision center, I will have a meeting. I will deliberately go out of my way to disguise, to cover up who actually made a mistake. And then I will make it such that nobody really knows who actually made a mistake. Which is going to focus on the mistake itself to see whether we can improve the system so that such a mistake will no longer occur. Doesn't matter who is on the job. So I go out of my way, ladies and gentlemen, to cover up the fact that Nancy made a mistake. I will do different tricks. For example, I would say, I would intentionally sort of mislead a little bit. I would say, okay, we have a meeting, we got a problem. The problem actually was made by someone who is not here today. Well, Nancy's actually here. But by saying that somebody's not here, everybody's not looking at each other anymore. They think, oh, okay, Dr. Wen saying, maybe one of the staff happened to be off or something, who made a mistake. So we're going to focus on the problem. Okay. So I've learned to go out of my way to cover up the identity of the person who made a mistake so that the entire team will focus on the problem. So, ladies and gentlemen, you see, Pro 1, people is more important in terms of partnership. By observing this Pro, you can save lots of time. Rather than get into relationship halfway through, spend lots of money and energy, and you end up wasting it because it's the wrong person. With the right partner, you may be do the right thing. With the wrong partner, you can never be the right thing. So you see, you save lots of time by recognizing Pro 1 in business partnership. But in business problem solving, though, it's the opposite. The matter is more important than the person. So if you recognize this, and as I have learned through my own previous mistake, I actually go out of my way to cover up the identity of the person who made a mistake in the business. So that way I can be a lot more efficient and the team can go straight to the problem without worrying about anybody's losing his or her face and worrying about who actually made the mistake. Because it doesn't really matter who made the mistake, who made the mistake. What really matters is the system itself has to be improved. Okay? Doesn't matter who actually made a mistake. Anybody in that position, if the system is wrong, anybody in that position could make the same mistake. So these two pearls already give you a flavor of these 77 pearls, how it actually can help you. Okay? I will encourage you to look at your own experience. These pearls are not to be rushed through. That's why we space them out, 6 or 7 pearls every month. So you got Pro 1, person's more important than matter in business partnership. Pro 2, person, the matter is more important than the person in business problem solving. I want to challenge all of you. Tomorrow, in your business, in your work, can you apply these 2 pearls? When your team gets together, meeting, can you try to do things to make people not focus on the person? Tomorrow, when somebody come and talk to you, say, hey, Johnny, I've got the business idea. Do you want a partnership with me? Can you recognize, I'm not going to jump into relationship, business relationship, partnership right away. I'm going to examine that person a little bit more, recognizing Pro 1. Okay? So it's only when you actually willing to apply these pearls as we go along this 1-year journey of Ban Gong Bei learning, can you improve your efficiency to up to 10 times. Okay? So Pro 1 and Pro 2. Pro 3. Life is a two-way street. If you need someone to assist you with your project, you first need to do everything that you can to help that person with his or her project first. Then he or she be more willing to incline to help with yours. A person who always wants to just take, but never give, never be successful. Oh, by the way, let me pause for a moment. Remember I said each of these 77 pros is actually against human nature. Okay? Because human nature is irrational. Let me ask you, look at the things you have done in your life, each one of you. Have you done things that you partnership with someone, waste lots of time halfway because you halfway realize the wrong person to begin with, to work together? Some of you must have such experience. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is the human nature, if we leave to our own vice, is going to do that. Human nature is not logical. Human nature is irrational. Which is, hey, I like Johnny. Hey, let's do it. Don't do it. And halfway through, Johnny's the wrong person. He's not the right type of partner at all. I don't like the fact that he never communicates. You see? That's our human nature. Human nature is that we jump into doing business without examining the partner first. So you see, you now see an example. Pearl 1 out of 77 pearls, actually I recognize that human nature, and I've devised a way to specifically tackle it. But not only is human nature irrational, but it's also predictable. Why? Because many of us do that. We jump into partnership, friendship, without even examining the friends carefully first. So now you see an example. See an example of the irrationality of human nature itself. In partnership, we focus on the matter, not the person, and we correct it. We want to focus on the person. Pro 2 is the same. You know, if your company has a problem, Nancy made a mistake, what is your human instinct? What is your human instinct if you're the team leader? You call Nancy into the room, mad at Nancy. Nancy, why you made a mistake? Okay, Johnny, Eric, everybody come at the meeting. That's our human behavior. It's completely irrational and it's predictable because we do that. It's not like 50% of the time we do that, 50% of the time we don't do that. That is a random error. It's not. It's a systematic error. Systematic error. Now, I've devised a systematic solution by focusing on the matter, not the person. So you see another example how human nature itself is irrational, but it's predictable. Because it's predictable, we can, therefore, it's a systematic error, and I design a systematic solution to solve the problem. 3, life is a two-way street. If you need someone to assist you with your project, you first need to do everything possible to help that person, and then he or she will be inclined to help yours. A person who always wants to just take but not give will never be successful. So here's the thing. Human nature is what? Everybody think about human nature. Remember, every single one of the 77 pearls is recognizing the irrational human nature, recognizing it's predictable, therefore systematic, therefore I devise systematic solution to a systematic error, right? Human nature is that we're always very self-centered, right? All of us, myself included. So generally, without educating ourselves, without applying logic, we don't think about what other people need. So much so that even if that somebody is someone we need help from. I'll give an example. I've been very active in our community, and I've been involved in multiple nonprofit and stuff over the years. I lead about 8 of the nonprofit organizations for many years now. So almost every week, I will get a letter. The letter say, Dr. Wang, you know, we got this charity. It would be very nice if you can send in some money to help. And I used to be naive. I said, oh, sure, I will help. Then when our side foundation needs help, I approach the same person. Then the person does not want to help back, to help our nonprofit. So I got very frustrated. I said, how come the life is not two ways? So ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you, a person is either knows life is two ways or does not. A person does not change. Let me repeat again. A person does not change. Repeat again. The person does not change. So you just have to figure out whoever you're working with is a two-way person or not. If it's not, don't waste your time. He or she will never change. At my age today, I've learned the only person I can change is myself. I cannot change anyone else. So don't expect anybody else to change. So you're saying, and then you say, Dr. Wang, wait a minute. You're saying human nature is fixed pretty much. If somebody who knows life's two-way versus somebody does not, that's the way he or she is going to be. I said, correct. That's it, because it's irrational. It's not logical. Somebody is like that way. It's that way. It just doesn't change. the Chinese saying that's called 江山易改，本性难移, saying that you can even change a country, a person will not change. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is, I realized that after a few times I help others, they never want to help back. Then I said, whew, that's frustrating. So I decided to do something about it. Then I recognized, you know that in the ancient Chinese history, there was a very smart emperor who has the gold testing stone, right? Because all the merchants came to presume the gold stone to the emperor and say, hey, emperor, give me lots of money. So sometimes those are fake stuff. So emperor got cheated many times. Finally, he became smarter. He found a little piece of stone, very sharp. He know that it's not gold. And he put that in his pocket. Next time when the merchant present a little big stone, he say, hey, emperor, this is gold. Please pay me lots of money for it. The emperor will take the stone over and take out his little sharp gold testing stone and strike the surface of the stone. It generate gold spark, because he knows his little testing stone is not gold. That is a gold, what he's testing. But it does not generate gold spark. That is a fake. And he will throw back the stone to the merchant, go home. He will not want to buy from the merchant as such. So what I'm suggesting is, because people don't change, if you want to make your life easier and more efficient, rather than wasting time on people who are not life two ways, always do a gold testing stone testing. So I did it. So you know what I do? When I get a letter from someone who, Dr. Wang, we got this nonprofit, please support us, blah, blah, blah. This is always our reply. I reply this way, because of my gold testing stone opportunity. I said, Johnny, that's a great idea. Sounds like a great charity. I'm going to look into it. Wonderful. Thank you. Hey, by the way, in the second paragraph, I say, oh, by the way, do you know that we're trying to get this movie out to as many people, because it's a very rare opportunity for Chinese American to stand up, tell our stories. This is the first generation Chinese American film in American mainstream media. So here's the link. Would you be so kind, forward this link to friends? Okay. That's my gold testing stone. Email back. The result. Are you ready for the result, ladies and gentlemen? The result will shock you. Now remember, this Johnny person actually needs something from me, right? He wants me to donate to his whatever. So he needs something from me. You would expect when he needs something from me, when I need something, he cannot just ignore it. I mean, I'm not that smart, but I'll tell you, when I was in school, the person I really want to impress is my professor. Because if I make professor happy about me, I may get better grade, right? And as a student, I don't get the opportunity to help the professor. I need a favor from professor, but I have no favor to give back to the professor. But you bet, if one day I walk in the classroom and the professor said, hey, Ming, can you go over there and grab me a coffee for me? Oh, you bet. I run to that coffee machine like a dart. Because that's my rare opportunity to help the professor, do something for him or her. That way, he or she may give me better grades. That's human nature, right? So Johnny, in this case, needs something from me. Now you may expect whatever I want, he has to pay some attention, right? No. My experience is 99% of people on this planet are not life two ways. 99%. It's amazing. Even if when they need something from me, whatever I said, they ignore. Typically, when I throw out this gold testing stone reply as such, what do I get back? It will be like this from Johnny. Thank you, Dr. Wen. Thank you for your reply email. Thank you for looking into my charity and consider possibly donating. If you need additional information, please do not hesitate. That's it. As if I never put my second paragraph, the gold testing paragraph about the film link, want him to forward to friends. You know what? I will never bother to reply to that person anymore because I cannot change that person. That person already demonstrated he or she does not know life is two ways. And the circumstance in which this person demonstrated such not knowing life two ways is dramatic circumstance when he actually needs something from me. I mean, you expect in this case, he has to be somehow life is two way. After all, he needs something from me. So therefore, when I say something, he has to pay some attention. No, 99% of people don't. So ladies and gentlemen, one of my little tricks, being able to do more things probably than some people in my life. I feel like when people say, Ming, do you have like 40 hours or something? Because I'm doing different things, you know, music, dancing, medicine, you know, movie, whatever, right? And my answer always surprised them. I would say, I feel like I have 48, 72, 96 hours a day. How come? Because you learn one pro right here. I do not waste my time on people who fail my goal testing stone. I don't waste time because I know that the person does not change. Human nature doesn't change. Human nature does not change. So if Johnny is not life two ways person, working with Johnny will be just the most frustrating, time-wasting experience of my life. So you see, I feel like I have 96 hours a day because I don't waste time on people who are not life two ways. And how many people are those? 99%. So if you work with the 1% who do know life is two ways, you're going to be able to do things a lot more efficiently now. You see, that's how the 10 times or 1000% improvement in efficiency come in. And it's again another example of fighting human nature, because human nature is self-centeredness. And most of people do not think about what other people need. But this is a very good testing circumstance because Johnny actually needs something from me. So if when he needs from me and he still doesn't pay attention to what I need, this person definitely not two-way street at all. So you just give yourself the dramatic situation. You test the ghost testing stone. Don't waste your time. So many of you may send me an email. Just keep in mind, when my reply to you, I always, if a new friend, I always embed a go testing stone. That's my methods. That's my little pro. If you fail that, I don't communicate with you anymore. Because not saying you're worse than me. No, it's just, I don't want to waste time. I don't want to waste time on people who are not life is two ways. Because this person only wants to take, not give. Again, all the 77 pros I want to stress does not mean that I'm better than people who don't follow these pros. Just simply means I like to live these ways. It's not the moral judgment. It's not a religious judgment. If somebody who is not life two ways, I'm not saying that person is wrong. I'm not saying that person is morally wrong. No, it's just saying it's not me way. It's not my way. I don't want to live that way. I want to work with friends who is life is two ways. That's all. Now, early on, I actually saw a friend. 吴超还在线上吗? Okay, he was on the 线上. I was going to use him as an example. He's a state representative. But anyway, since he's not here, I wouldn't bother him. Okay. Pro 4. Make easy for others to help you. If you need help with your project, you need to first accomplish as much as you can yourself. Don't be lazy. If the person for whom you need help sees that you truly care about your own project, that you have already done as much as you can yourself before you ask for help, then he or she is more willing to assist you. Furthermore, the more you have done yourself prior to asking for help, the less he or she will have to do. Therefore, it's easier for him or her to do it to help you. You have to think about this pro. Very, very important pro. Because human nature, once again, each of these 77 pros is identified human nature and devise solution, and is irrational and is predictable irrational. Some is a systematic error and that devise systematic solution, right? That's what Ban Gong Bei is about. So I recognize the human nature. We tend to, human nature, all of us, myself included, we tend to ask, hey, Lao Zhang, hey, help us. Mr. Zhang, help me. But then we ourselves so lazy. We don't do anything about it. So Mr. Zhang look and say, hey, Ming, you need my help, but you didn't do anything about it. You know what? You don't really care about that project of yours, right? If you don't care, why should I care? I mean, sounds very logical, but the whole point of Ban Gong Bei pros is that these are the situations we do not apply logic. In fact, 90% of our behavior is emotional, right? As we illustrated earlier. So, not only that, not only by doing some part as much as you can yourself before you ask for help, sending a signal to the person you're getting help from that this is an important project for you because you already done best you can. But also, furthermore, the less your friend have to do, more likely he or she will do it for you. Okay? Because after all, it's your project. So if you make it very hard for him or her to do, a lot of stuff to do, he or she is less likely to do it. For example, one time in college, actually I was at a different campus. So I wanted to, we have this dancing ads and stuff I wanted to send to another friend on another university. I said, hey, Johnny, can you post our dancing events on this campus, on your campus? I'm not a student on your campus, so you can post, I cannot. Okay, so I sent an email over. I said, it's in the attachment. Okay, you can print it out and, just post around the campus. Thank you so much. Nothing happened. So what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Why he did not want to help me? I found myself, I violated this pro number 4 because I did not do anything. I was so lazy. I just sent him an email with an attachment. I said, print it out, go to Kinko, print it out and just post it around the campus. Because by not doing anything myself, I actually sent a signal to him. This is not important to me at all. Of course, Johnny ignored it. But not only that, he has to do so much. He has to print it out. He has to go to Kinko to get Xerox, and he has to find the staples, Scotch tape. More people have to do to help you, less likely they will do it. That means one more time, ladies and gentlemen, more someone has to do to help you, less likely he or she will do it to help you. So from a very smart student in our class, I realized that he is able to get people to do things for him all the time. So I start following this smarter student classmate of mine, and I realized, oh, that's his trick. He followed the pro 4. Okay, so I made my pro 4. Oh, by the way, 77 pro, Ban Gong Bei pros, took me a lifetime to accumulate. This is my lifetime learning. Very precious. Okay, I learned from the smarter kids, more successful people. It's a fruit of lifetime learning, lifetime recognition of human nature, which is irrational, and lifetime effort in designing logical, rational solutions. So each of these pros all came from tons of experience. Much of them are failed experience on my part, and learn from the smarter people who can do better. Okay, once again, I want to emphasize these pros does not mean when people don't follow these pros, they are less moral, no, or they are less as a human being, no. My Ban Gong Bei pro is not a moral human being judgment, no. It's just my way of doing it. Doesn't mean when people don't follow these are bad people. No. Doesn't mean they're lesser human being. No. Less moral. No, nothing. It's not a judgment. It's just my way of doing things. You have the option to take it, not take it. I don't saying people don't follow. It's bad people. No, no, no. It's just different people. Okay. So I don't mean I'm better. I just mean I follow these rules. You have the option to take the rules, and you can add rules yourself. You know, you can disagree with those too, and you can add your own. Develop your own 事半功倍 Pro. That's the whole point. I want to inspire all of us to recognize the irrational human behavior, and it's predictable, and devise logical solution. Okay? So that's pro number 4. So, you know, after I learned that pro, what I did, I learned from these smart kids, and I found a way to do it. And the result is next time when I want someone to post this post on another campus, I succeeded 100% of the time. 100%. The person willing to do for me. You know what I did? I followed the Pro 4. I printed out the flyer. I did not send him an email with attachment. I printed out. I went to the Kinko and made 100 copies myself. I dropped by his dorm on the other campus with the 100 copies in my hand, with a stapler and scotch tape already on my hand. And when he opened the door, I said, Johnny, I just have a little favor. I'm not a student on this campus. I'm not supposed to post on this campus, but I made it really easy for you. I actually copied it. 100 copies right here. I even brought a stapler. I even brought, you know, scotch tape. But not only that, I'm going to be your little assistant. Wherever you go on your campus, I'll be following you and handing you the stuff, assist you. I'm dedicated for the next hour or so to help you, to help me. Guess what? I follow Pro 4. I was not lazy. By not lazy, I do as much as I can. Shows that I pay attention to. The only thing I could not do is post on his campus because I'm not a student there. But I did everything else. I copied, I Xeroxed, I even got the scotch tape, and even willing to offer all my time to accompany him. And literally, very little he needs to do. He just close the door in the dorm and just go. He does not do any printing or anything. And I was even a little assistant, tailing him, giving him whatever he needs, wherever he arrived at the student union to post. Remember, less so somebody has to do to help you, more likely that person will do to help you. 5. This is another human nature, which is wrong, irrational, and we can do better. Why I'm here today? Whatever you're doing, always be willing to step back for a moment. Look at the whole situation and ask yourself this key question. Ultimately, what is the real reason that I'm here? You may look at this, you say, Dr. Ming, come on. This is nothing rocket science. Of course I know I'm here. Guess what? No. Next time when you're very busy at something, you jump in doing something, you know, 忙得不亦乐乎, right? I'm very, very busy. And then you say, oh, why I do that? Because sometimes when we do something, the purpose is not very obvious, and we may do something to achieve another purpose. Then you say, why is it important? First of all, human nature, we just jump in doing things without thinking. That's human nature. So I recognize that it's a predictable behavior, and I ask myself to think twice. Then what's the importance of recognize the real reason? Because only by recognizing real reason can you actually focus and be more efficient. So for example, I went to an event, you know, it's some kind of charity. Oh, nice, I go, and you're having a good time. It's kind of a masquerade party. Everybody dressed funny, fine. And after the event, came home, have a good time. Then I came home and said, oh, what did I do today? Why I was there? Oh, I forgot. Oh, what I wanted to be there is to figure out how is that nonprofit, how do they organize the event? How did they do it? But I was so caught up at the moment of excitement, I forgot. I had a good time, I came home. I forgot the real reason I was there. So I recognize my human nature now. It's irrational. Why is it irrational? Because that's the reason I'm there. How can I forget? Well, that's the irrational part of human behavior. We literally often forget why we're doing something. So we have to remind ourselves. So from now on, I suggest you try this method. Wherever you go, whatever you do, company event, whatever events, make sure you understand why you're there. And make sure in the middle of the event, remind yourself to step back, away from the crowd, and ask yourself, why I'm here today? What is the real reason I'm here? Because by doing this, following Pearl 5, you can actually be a lot more efficient in recognize your inefficiencies and get to the real thing, rather than like what I did, just forgot. The last pearl I want to talk about today is pearl number 6. Remember, we have 77 pearls. We're gonna spend a year each. If Zoom will cover 6 or 7 pearls. So number 6, today's last one, is identify the number 1 task. That is, when faced with many challenges, rank them in order of importance, so you can devote most of your attention to the number 1 task. The ability to rank is at the core of the human experience. I'm in my early 60s. If you ask me, you say, Ming, what have you learned as a human being? What have you learned? I would say, yes, there are many things. But then you say, I'm going to apply your pearl number 6. What is the number 1 thing? Number 1 things you have learned? I will tell you, my answer is, I've learned how to rank. Prioritizing. When I was young, everything is important. Now I'm getting older, I know some of the things are not that important at all. I actually can see clearer what's more important than others. So ladies and gentlemen, my notion here is the ability to rank, the ability to prioritize is at the core of human experience. It's what you have lived those decades of human lives, you have something to show for. What you have to show for is your ability, your improved ability to rank. So again, this is one of the 77 human nature. We don't rank. We do not rank. Of course, we don't rank. You know, 忙东忙西, or what gonna, and at the end you can. I mean, one of the question people ask me over the years is, I mean, how do you do some of the things, right? Do reasonably well. And my answer is, I always try to rank. Every moment I rank. There's a New York Times bestseller called The One Thing. New York Times bestseller called The One Thing. It's a little booklet, it's yellow color, you can finish in 1 hour. It says that every human being, at any moment, there's only one thing. Tomorrow's one thing could be different from today's one thing, but nonetheless, there's only one thing today. And there's one thing tomorrow. Always recognize what's most important right now, at the moment, and focus your energy onto that one thing. Then you say, you mean human nature, we don't do that? Correct. Human nature, we just jump into a bunch of things and we end up to be very inefficient because we did not 集中火力, all focus on the most important thing. So these are the different pros, and we'll cover the rest of the 77 pros in the monthly 3rd Wednesday of every month. So what I want to review a little bit before we go on and finish it. So let me review for you today what we have covered today. And so that, as I said, the most important thing is to recognize these are intrinsic human nature driven. Once again, Ban Gong Bei is saying how much you can improve efficiency by studying Ban Gong Bei? 10 times. I feel like using this Ban Gong Bei, I use it every day. I can feel like 96 hours. Because how we can improve 10 times? We're human beings are 90% emotional, 10% logical. And since human beings are emotional, irrational, it's also predictable. Now, we got an opportunity. Since it's irrational and predictable, 90% of our behavior, that's where Ban Gong Bei come in. By systematically study our irrational, predictable behavior, we can apply the seldom applied logic. So we can, in fact, improve the efficiency, improve the 90% of ourselves, which is irrational part, therefore reaching the 10 times or 1000% improved efficiency. You literally feel you have more hours in a day. You have 48, 70 to 96 hours because you avoid lots of zigzag. So Ban Gong Bei is 77 human nature irrational behaviors. I've spent my lifetime identifying them. And I've spent my lifetime in trying to figure out the logical solution, recognizing they are predictable irrationalities. So that's why we have opportunity to devise systematic solutions. So each of these 77 pros. Pro 1 says we in the partnership, human nature tends to focus on the stuff we do. No. The Ban Gong Bei says focus on the person. Pro 2 said in the business problem solving, our natural instinct is focus on the person. No, Ban Gong Bei said focus on the matter. Pro 3 said that 99% people does not know life is two ways and don't waste time to try to change them. Ban Gong Bei said that's correct because they're 99, they don't change. So do a little testing, go testing stone. So save you lots of time. Only work with that 1% of people who do know life is two ways. Pro number 4, make it a lot efficient for you now, recognizing that we as human beings, even if we ask someone to help, we don't do anything ourselves. Sending the wrong signal to a person, that's not important because we're so lazy ourselves. And also not recognizing that people watch what we do. So Ban Gong Bei says, do as much as you can, but also the lesser the person has to do to help you, more likely they will do that to help you. That's a Ban Gong Bei predictable, systematic, logical solution. Number 5, human being, we're always confused. At the moment, excitement, do lots of different things, forget what's ultimately why we're here. You may not believe me. Starting tomorrow, examine yourself. You will recognize yourself, your colleagues. Very often, people are busy. At the end, they forgot exactly why they're doing it. So Ban Gong Bei says, step back. Think about why you're doing that. Final, after we have lived for a few decades on this planet, what do we have to show for as a human being? In my opinion, the ability to prioritize is the most important things we have to show for after being on this planet for a few decades. So the ability to rank is at the core of human experience. So train yourself. Ban Gong Bei said, our human nature is we don't rank. We just jump into many different things all at the same time. But Ban Gong Bei says, rank them. Put all your energy on the most important thing only. Okay? So today we have gone through 6 pros. 77 pros will take us 12 months. Each month we cover 6 or 7 of them. And by the year's end, always 3rd Wednesday of every month, 7:30 p.m. And we will go through, I always tell stories behind it. And again, if you have any question, we're going to open for question answer. You can take a picture of this. I did not spend any time. October 22nd, our vision Zoom. And we can treat nearsightedness, farsightedness, astigmatism, presbyopia, and cataracts. As my email address, WeChat, you can email me. Welcome to the Zoom. For example, LASIK surgery is going out of date. LASIK surgery is becoming obsolete. It's now replaced by a better technology than LASIK called SMILE. But only 5% of US surgeons are performing that. That's the left upper corner, left lower corner. If you wear contact lens, you don't have to remove it anymore at the bedtime. I can put it inside your eyes. You never need to remove it. Implantable contact lens. In the middle, Forever Young lens, if you're over age 45, I've got technology to fix your reading as well. In fact, one surgery, Forever Young surgery, I can fix all 5. Nearsightedness, farsightedness, astigmatism, presbyopia, and cataract. One surgery, 一劳永逸. So you could be 99 years old. Your vision could still be 25 years old. Will never change. Forever young. On the right, cataract surgery, even though cataract surgery can be performed with laser or blade, but believe it or not, 95% of US surgeons today for cataract surgery are still using blade. Only 5% are using laser, even though laser is better, more accurate and safer. Why? Because medicine is so technological driven. So most of the doctors strong in medicine, but I've been fortunate. I've got a 理工科, the laser physics PhD training as well. So I've been writing textbooks and trying to help the surgeons. So anyway, if you have any question, I'll be happy to entertain. About the film, appreciate your effort forwarding the stream link. This is the first generation Chinese American, first generation Chinese American film in American mainstream media. And if you type in angel.com/site, by just typing iTalkBB at the checkout, it will be just $9.60. You can watch this film and all other films on Angel platform, all for $9 and change. DVD is available. You can buy DVD, mail to China if you want to. What's one thing you can do to help this first generation Chinese American film is to email me if you want to help me pass those film cards to your friends. You have Christmas party in your company, Thanksgiving party, whatever, just email me and I will mail you a bunch of the film cards and help all Chinese Americans, all immigrants, all minorities, all Americans to tell our stories. Ban Gong Bei is an ancient Chinese saying about accomplishing double work. The unique aspect of this is about combining the wisdom of East and West. On the screen is my contact information. You can take a picture. You can contact me, including my WeChat. Next Zoom is November 20th, Wednesday, always the 3rd Wednesday of every month. Same Zoom number. You can take a picture of this. And if you're interested in free book, email me and with your name, email address, and mailing address, and I will send the free book. Starting the next Zoom, November 20th, everybody should have a little booklet. As I go through the Zoom, those pearls, you can actually make a marginal note. This booklet is a little black book. It's right here. It's very small, little black book. And I will mail to you as a little gift. So how much you can improve by using Ban Gong Bei 10 times. Why 10 times? We're 90% emotional, only 10% logical as human being. And it's also not only irrational, but also predictably irrational. That's why we can devise predictable systematic solution and to address it. Since 90% is emotional, 10% is logical, that's why we can actually, by replacing the 90% irrational with logical, we can improve our efficiency of doing things by 1000%. Okay? So 77 human nature-driven irrational behaviors. I've spent my lifetime identifying them. And today you have heard 6 specific, logical, systematic solutions, how to overcome them. And this is just the beginning of learning process. And I want everybody to use these pearls and kind of experiment it. And just think about these 6 pearls. I also send electronically to you already. So the entire book, digital form, is electronic in your email. You can look at the 6 pearls we've gone over today and starting applying them tomorrow. Once again, it doesn't mean I'm better human being or worse human being. Just means I like to live by those pearls myself because it has made my life a lot more efficient. So you have the option to be inspired to formulate your own pearls. You know, you can start with these pearls and add more because that's a lifelong learning experience. So Dr. Chen, we're going to open up for questions. And in the chat room, let me see. I forgot to tell people, Dr. Chen, to, put questions in the chat room. Let me see if there's any question in the chat room so that I can start answering them. Dr. Chen, do you see question in the chat room?
I already answered.
Oh, you already answered. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
I already answered.
Wonderful.
So if somebody have questions, you can ask now.
Yeah, you can open your mic. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Wang, for your instructions and beautiful presentation. So I learned a lot from you. I actually have may I ask some questions outside of today's topic?
Oh, anything you want.
Oh,
No
okay. So the election is coming. As a Christian and Chinese Christian, how do you feel about like deal with the elections? What's your stance? And how to utilize our judgments for this election? How do you feel?
Very good question. Very good question. I'm just typing my contact information in the chat room. Let me put it right here. Tuesday, 6:45 p.m. CT RSVP. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I just put my contact information in the chat room. And a reminder again for everybody: if you're interested in receiving a free Ban Gong Bei booklet, put in the chat room your name, email address, mailing address, and your WeChat address, if you have WeChat. So Dr. Ming Chen, who actually volunteered all of his time, very appreciated. He is going to build a updated directory, and I will mail to you the book. In addition, if you're interested in helping the film, disseminate the information, you can also put in the chat room. In fact, email me. I just put my email address in chat room. Just say, Dr. Wang, I live in Ohio. We have Christmas party company. We typically have 50 people. Could you mail 50 of the film cards? I will mail to you, and you can just disseminate them at the Christmas party or something like that. Okay, so really appreciate it because it is helping all of us, all Asian American, Chinese American immigrants, for us to help make science successful, therefore help ourselves to have opportunity to stand up, speak out, and tell our stories as such. So just email me if you're willing to help, and just tell me your mailing address, and I'll mail a bunch of film cards to you as such. Question is excellent. The message of the film site is this: we are so blessed to living in a country with freedom, but we as Americans have taken for granted. And then you say, Dr. Wang, what is the symptom of us as Americans who have taken the freedom we have in this country for granted? Here is the evidence. That here is the symptom that proving that we have taken what we have in America for granted, the freedom. And for me as a Christian, the faith. That is this. The symptom is that we're so polarized as a nation. We're so increasingly fixated on differences rather than appreciating what we all have in common as fellow Americans. We're increasingly unable to work across political aisles, racial divides, and ethnic divisions, leaving the problems in our society, so many problems unaddressed, such as gun violence, opioid crisis, environmental disasters, racial tension, poverty, education, jobs, healthcare, economy. Because we're so polarized, we're so unwilling to work together across political, racial divides, ethnic divisions. When we meet someone who is different, we yell and shout and demonizing the other side. Then you say, Dr. Wang, you mean the reason that for us that we're behaving so polarized as a nation, so divided, is because we forgot our blessing of being able to live in a free country? My answer is correct. It's just like a marriage. Husband and wife, if you don't appreciate what you have, what you tend to do? When you have differences, you tend to yell and shout and hurting each other, feelings. But even given the same difference between husband and wife, if you do appreciate what you have, which is marriage, you're much more willing to say, honey, I know we're different on this thing, but don't we have so much else in common? So ladies and gentlemen, Sight, this film, is sending a clear message, a vision to America today. Through the experience of someone who used to not have freedom, through the experience who came to America. To me, China is the country that have brought, I was born, give me the grit, the personality, the determination. America is a country that gave me the opportunity. So I'm grateful to both countries. But the point here is this. Sight is give people a vision in America today. In fact, I even wrote a Sight Bible study with my pastor called Seeing Beyond, which is my background. Is encourage America to see beyond our pain, our circumstance, ourselves, our own culture, and our polarization. Sight is essentially saying, you know who appreciates sight the most? Those who used to be blind. Who appreciates freedom the most? Those who used to not have freedom. Sight is reminding us, you know what? We need to really work on our overcoming the polarization and find the common ground once again as a nation. We can work together despite the differences. In fact, loving each other despite the difference, put the country interests above any political party is the hallmark of our great nation, America. But we have forgotten about it. I even built a nonprofit organization called Common Ground Network to study the methodology, how to find the common ground. I even published a Common Ground Bible study as well. So to answer your question, a Christian at this divisive election year, the behavior of many Christians, in my personal opinion, is wrong. It's not Jesus-like. If you read the Bible, see all the story Jesus behaving on this few decades he had walked on this planet. He is the ultimate common ground seeker. He traded places with us as human beings by becoming one of us. He demonstrated empathy even to the people in the lowest rung society, women by the world, the Bible story. Nobody wants to talk to her. Jesus did. He paid the ultimate price by dying for our sin at the cross. So Christians should be the exemplary common ground seeker rather than being some of the worst polarizers today. Christians should demonstrate that when even someone who does not agree with me, I can still love that person just as much or more. Think about it. What a historical opportunity now. In an unprecedented divided nation for Christians to behave differently. To take advantage of the historical opportunity when nations so divided by following the Jesus as the ultimate example of ultimate common ground seeking, by showing what's uniquely Christians ours, which is our ability to love another person despite our difference. What an amazing opportunity to truly be a Christian in this moment. So that is my answer to you, that I think, myself included, as a Christian, we need to do a lot more learning from Jesus to demonstrate our ability to work together across racial barriers, ethnic divisions, and political differences, and put the interest of the nation above the interest of any political party, to recognize that America can only address the problem we truly need to address, which is all these problems I mentioned, by overcoming our polarization and finding common ground once again. That is the message of the film Sight to all Americans. Thank you for your questions. Excellent.